Greetings YouTube, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Today we're having a look at the game Death Rings of Jupiter by Albatross Whitehead. This is a procedurally generated space shooter, and it's definitely a very retro type game, as you can see from the introduction. It is a little bit of a difficult game. It does have a couple of issues at the moment, but I've been enjoying my time so far. So I thought we'd have a bit of an informal look at the game. I'm going to play it and tell you what I think. So let's get into the game and have a look. And here we are in the game. We begin in our spaceship as an astronaut trying to explore the depths of space. Now we have a little handy dandy reference menu. When we're standing in the spaceship, it'll give us a explanation of our different stat bars here, and also the different areas of the ship and what they do. We can actually save at this computer here, and it also gives us a quick little overview of the controls. If you want a little bit more detail, you can use your escape key, and this will give you a more in-depth explanation of the controls and the functions of your astronaut, as well as a little bit of a stat counter here. Now, as you explore the depths of space, you're going to be looking for caves such as this one. And we've immediately found one of the bosses in the game. And hopefully we can take him out. There we go. Now, in addition to different enemies that will attack you, there are also bosses that you'll need to fight as well. We have access to two different weapons, one on the left mouse button and one on the right. Now, as far as I can tell, there isn't any sort of ammo counter, so you can go nuts and fire both at the same time. And in fact, I encourage you to do that. We also have access to bombs, and these are very useful for gathering resources. And they also allow us to make makeshift holes where we can replenish our air. Now we have two main resources we need to worry about as an astronaut, which is our air supply, which we can replenish every time we go into one of these caves. And also the most important one, which is our jetpack fuel. The jetpack fuel allows us to fly around, and having no jetpack fuel will quickly get you killed because you'll be trapped in the depths of space. Mining these caves can be very good, but you also have to watch out for various mini-bosses like the one that I found, and you also have to make sure that you leave yourself somewhere to stand, as mining out all of the caves will leave you floating in space with nowhere to replenish your air. And oxygen is very easy to replace, but the jetpack fuel is somewhat more rare. So if you do get lost at any time, you can very easily bring up a map by using the tab key, like so, which will give you an indication of where you are in the map, and also the remaining resources that you need to find. As you can see, we've got one that's a little bit below. I'm running out of air very rapidly. We're going to try and... Yep, we snuck our way into this cave. As you can see, it's very easy to die from running out of oxygen. At the moment, our oxygen is full, but unfortunately we've used most of our jetpack fuel. So I just need to chill out here and wait for some enemies to turn up, and hopefully they will, and allow me to refill my my jetpack fuel. Luckily, blowing up that cave had some jetpack fuel for me, and I filled that up. So basically you need to get all of the enemies in the level, and you also need to take out 3 bosses in order to progress. So let's have a look next at the upgrade system. By defeating bosses, we'll be able to use some of our resources to upgrade our astronaut. You can access it again with the tab key. You can see here, this gives us a very simple overview of both the weapons that we're using, our current resources in terms of health, air, and jetpack fuel. And every time we defeat a boss, we'll be able to get some points. We got some points from defeating that boss. So I'm going to, as always, upgrade my jetpack fuel, because I find that this always gets used up first. I'm then going to upgrade my air supply. And as you can see, that just gives us a larger stockpile of air and jetpack fuel to use. And this is pretty much it. Now all we have to do is wait around for a boss to turn up and take him out. And here we are with one of the game's bosses appearing, finally, after a long wait. Most of the bosses have this same pattern of behaviour. They will simply spawn enemies or chase you relentlessly. With these sub-bosses, we should hopefully be able to take them out. And we're going to lure them into this cave so the resources they drop we can actually collect. And really, it's just a battle of attrition with these guys. It's backing up and just firing on them constantly until they die. One of the problems with the game is the AI is fairly limited. Most of the enemies will just move towards you or spawn smaller enemies. I'd love to see a bit more variety in the bosses and the enemies that you find in the game. And unfortunately, another thing that is a bit of a problem in this game is the enemy pathing. As you can see, enemies can get caught up on surfaces, and if you're in a cave, enemies won't be smart enough to move around to one of the entrances of the cave to get in. Unless they're very close, they'll just simply wait on the other side of a wall, and you actually have to go to them. And the bosses are no exception. As you can see, the boss had entered the map, and upon finding roughly where I was, he just sat on the other side of the wall doing nothing. So this can be quite a problem, because if you actually run out of air with the boss on the other side of a wall, you have no real way of reaching them. So what are my final thoughts on this game? Well, in a word, the game feels unfinished. There are a lot of balance issues with the game, a lot of issues with the enemy pathing, which I've shown you. But all of these aren't game-breaking problems. They are minor balance issues which the developer could fix. And at the moment, I'm going to have to say, let's give this one a bit of a miss for now, until the developer has had a little bit more time to work on the game. And hopefully in 6 or 12 months, or however long it takes the developer to add a little bit more polish to the game, we can come back and have another look at this. It's the unfortunate side effect of having a lot of these early access games to review. I find that I'm having to put a lot of these games under the microscope a lot more than some of the earlier games that I looked at. And it's another thing with Steam. There are so many early access games now where all of us are spoiled for choice. So a lot of the developers are going to find they're going to need to put a little bit more work into the games to get the market share. And hopefully that's something that this developer can do in future. I'm looking forward to seeing this game if they can add a little bit more spit polish to it. As I said, this is not a bad game. I think this is just a game that needs a little bit more work. It's incomplete. It's a rough diamond, needs a little bit more work, and hopefully we can come back and have a look. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you found this review interesting and you'll join me for my next review. As always, leave me a comment, leave me a subscribe if you feel so inclined, and hopefully we'll see you for the next review. Until next time, Skill Incarnate out.